Howdy, yokes, and welcome back to Bacon and Eggs. I'm Tyler Carlin.
And I'm Ethan Edgehill.
We're gonna need a bigger boat.
Or just blow the thing up.
So, here's to swimming with bow-legged women.
Smile, you son of a
Because today we're bringing you...
Jaws!
Jaws! And we don't have any guests. It's just
you and me. Oh, man. How you been, buddy? It's been a while.
It's been a long time. I mean, sort of. Like, you and I talk constantly, but
like for the podcast, the last time we just had a conversation, it's been since before Harry Potter.
It was like the Lego movie, wasn't it?
I think so.
That's forever ago.
Yeah, the Lego movie was a while ago. Oh, gosh.
I know.
Anyway, so we're talking about Jaws today.
I'm so excited for Jaws.
1975, man.
This is the second oldest movie we've ever reviewed.
Is it really? How old is it?
It was released June 20th, 1975, which was 15,677 days ago as of this recording.
Good Lord. 15,000 days.
Yeah. A lot of days. A lot of days.
A lot?
A lot. A whole lot. It had a $9 million budget, but that's okay.
Did it make it back?
It made it back. It made $470.6 million worldwide. About half of that was domestic, half of that was overseas. That's the highest ever in 1975.
Yeah, for like 2 years.
Yeah.
After,
wait, what beat it?
Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
In 1977.
Star Wars.
Yeah, A New Hope. Did people like Jaws? Oh, what do you?
People loved Jaws. It got a 97% critic rating and a 90% audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes, which I'm surprised audiences don't like it more. But I think as somebody who watched this in 2018, I've seen it before, but I'm not so well versed in Jaws that I feel like I know. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like Forrest Gump with me, where I'm like, I've seen Forrest Gump a gajillion times.
I've seen at least most of Jaws probably 50 to 75 times. And it's not even like a movie. If you'd ask me what my favorite movies are, it wouldn't even come in the conversation. It's just like every time Jaws has ever been on TV, my dad's like, I guess I could watch Jaws. Same with Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, but it's mostly Jaws.
I've never seen Psycho, but I've seen The Birds. Birds?
The Birds, yeah. Birds is a good one. That's another one.
Seen The Birds.
The TV channels that my dad watches like to play a lot of Alfred Hitchcock movies. They also like to play Jaws over and over and over again every Saturday and Sunday, all summer, every year.
I just love Jaws.
And yeah, so do TV stations. And anyway, so I've seen Jaws a bunch, and so to kind of, I had to break it down and break it apart this time, and that was interesting for me. It's something I hadn't really done before. But it did do very well on Rotten Tomatoes. It's tied for the best movie we reviewed so far on Rotten Tomatoes with Monty Python and the Holy Grail and Black Panther. Both got a 97% critic rating.
We've never done a 100?
We have not done a 100.
Wild. Do you think the kaiju monster in Jaws is better than the iceberg?
Jaws is not a kaiju movie.
I mean, it kind of is. It's about a giant monster.
It's not about a giant monster.
It's 25 feet long.
That's not kaiju scale.
3,000 pounds. Or no, 3 tons. 6,000 pounds of monster.
That's not kaiju, man. This is just a regular. It's like calling this a kaiju movie is not fair to Jaws because kaiju movies are generally kind of stupid.
Correct, and this is not stupid.
But it's also not fair to kaiju movies because, like, then you're telling every kaiju movie, oh, it has to stand up to Jaws.
It's definitely not gonna happen.
Yeah, so it's like this is a I don't even know what you call it, a disaster movie. This is a thriller, a horror movie. I think it was listed as AFI's scariest movie of all time.
It is not that scary.
It's not that scary.
I think the reason it's not scary is because of Shark Week, though. In that, like, I know now, like, I feel like before Jaws.
Are you saying that we as Americans are a little bit inundated with shark knowledge?
About how they're really not that dangerous.
Yeah, and how, like, pretty much if you just leave them alone, they won't kill you.
The truth is, like, this summer I got the opportunity to fish for sharks, which is a totally ethical thing to do.
Talk about sharking. You've been shark fishing.
No, I was not sharking. I was not, like, cutting fins. I was just catching sharks and throwing them back.
I don't think Quint was cutting fins off either.
He was in the movie?
Yeah.
I mean, he was, like, pulling their jaws out.
I mean, I imagine, yeah, but he probably sold the whole shark.
Right. But anyway, we weren't selling
Quint seemed to have a respect for the shark.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, shark poachers do not. That's a big thing.
Right.
Because they cut the fins off and throw the finless sharks back.
Yeah. And then the Megalodon eats them. Or eats the people. The Meg. Man, that movie was a blatant ripoff of this movie. I mean, everybody knew that before, but, like, wow.
But yeah, Shark Week. It's created this, like, shark culture, at least in the States.
Well, like, the cool thing about sharks is that, like, when you go to the beach, they're there. Like, there's no escaping them. They're in the water with you. not far away.
Yeah.
Like when I went shark fishing, we were not 200 yards from the beach where my beach house was catching sharks.
Yeah.
Like they're right there. And like you're like if you go in the ocean, there will be sharks nearby. But they do not care. Like if they wanted to eat people, they would.
Right.
But the truth is that like in the movie they're talking about, you know, when you splash around like that, you're giving sharks exactly what they're looking for. But really what you're doing is you're telling sharks, hey, this probably isn't the spot you want to go because this meal's going to struggle.
Yeah, that and like I feel like most shark attacks happen in empty water almost, where you're the only person on the beach.
Well, and the thing, like, yeah, so if the shark wanted to eat people, it would.
Yeah, but that doesn't make for a good movie.
Right.
Also, I just don't think we knew that much about sharks back then.
We definitely didn't. Even in the movie, they were like, they don't even know how long sharks live. It could be thousands of years. Who knows? Is it thousands of years? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure sharks live to be pretty old.
How long do sharks live? I wonder if we know that.
How long do sharks live? 20 to 30 years.
Okay.
Lifespan shark. Not a specific kind of shark.
Right.
People also search for mahi-mahi, sheep, and carp. Thank you, Google.
So this is a weird list of answers. This is answers.com/q/how_long_do_great_white_sharks_live. Listen to this sentence. Great white sharks can live to be over 100 years old, but they are dying off in large numbers due to commercial fishing. The answer is 50 to 30 years. Great white sharks can live over 30 years. Scientists say 30 to 100 years. So it seems like a while.
That's how mathematical data works, though. Is like a great white shark can live to 100 years,
right?
But they generally don't make it. Same with a person.
Right.
Let me talk to you about a little thing called mortality credits and how it will affect if and when you can ever retire.
Welcome to my TED Talk.
Anyway, yeah, it's the same thing with people. It's like, yeah, people live to be 114 years old, but most people do not.
Right.
Cool. So great white sharks are like 100 years old. Awesome.
Not 2,000 to 3,000 years.
No. So Brody was mistaken. He's mistaken about a lot of things.
You know, Brody, I think, is such an... Well, before we get there, do you have a positive review or a negative review?
Well, so, okay, and also we forgot to mention the Metacritic score, which is
a good one?
87 on Metacritic.
Very good.
It's our third highest we reviewed so far, behind Monty Python and the Holy Grail with 93, and Star Wars A New Hope with the 90. But this is listed as a Metacritic must-see movie.
I believe it.
The others are not.
Interesting. I feel like all three of those movies are movies you have to see.
I agree, but Metacritic does not.
Well, I don't work for Metacritic.
I'm just saying. Just don't facts out. Just don't facts out.
As long as we're talking about statistics, before we get to the positive and negative review, this is a PG movie.
Is it really?
It really is. This movie
crazy.
with a naked woman on the poster is a PG movie.
Yeah, literally the first scene in the movie, a swimming naked woman gets her whole body ripped to living shreds
by a shark. This PG movie where they're drinking and shark fishing, and this is a PG movie. I just want to, like, it doesn't make any sense to me at all. Literally when it popped up on the screen, like, this film has been rated PG by the MPAA, I was like, oh, it must be a preview. That's weird. I didn't buy a movie to watch previews, like streaming.
Yeah.
Nope. Then the movie just started, and I was like, what?
What?
And
I'll tell you why that is. Partially because, and I'm not saying this in a negative light or to be like, you know, a crotchety old man at this point, but we have gotten a little more sensitive to things over the past 40 years.
Oh, yeah, the internet done that.
And also, like, there is no sexual content in this movie whatsoever.
I mean, there's a naked lady.
Right, but she's naked because she's swimming.
Isn't Titanic PG-13?
Yeah.
That's got a naked lady.
Titanic was 22 years later.
It's true.
But there's no boobies in this movie.
You could sort of see her boobies.
Anyway, it's like, this is not like there's no, like, romantic content in this movie.
No,
whatsoever.
not really at all. Yeah.
There's that one line where Brody's like, yeah, you want to get drunk and fool around? Or his wife says it, and that's it.
Nasty.
It's like,
nasty grown-ups.
Right. It's like, for the most part, it's just all about a shark.
It is all about a shark. And we need more movies that are all about a shark. I think in this poster for the film, the shark is much bigger than it is in the film.
I think a better poster for this movie would have had no shark on it.
Why?
Just because I feel like that's how the movie works.
I think this is one of the greatest movie posters.
I would also agree, but I also think it would have been good if it just there wasn't a shark. But I also come from a world in which we know what Jaws is about, so.
Yeah, that's true. They never call him Jaws. They call him Bruce, right? Did they ever say his name? His name's Bruce.
His name's Bruce, but they never say his name.
Okay.
They don't. He's not named Bruce in the movie.
Name's Bruce.
The shark itself, the big shark puppet, is named Bruce.
How does the shark puppet... Let's read our positive and negative review.
Okay, go ahead with your positive review.
Mine is from the king himself, Roger Ebert. This is so exciting. We have a real Ebert reviewed film to talk about. There's a bunch of those we've just not read the Ebert review for. But in this situation, we have it. And I'm going to read it because he's the king. And he gave it a very good score. 4 out of 4 stars. Steven Spielberg's Jaws is a sensationally effective action picture. A scary thriller that works all the better because it's populated with characters that have been developed into human beings we get to know and care about. It's a film that's as frightening as The Exorcist, and yet it's a nicer kind of fright. Somehow more fun because we're being scared by an outdoor adventure saga instead of by a brimstone and vomit evil. I could read the rest of it. There's like 6 paragraphs, but that's the first paragraph. He loves it.
As soon as you read anything Roger Ebert has ever written, you understand why he's like the gold standard.
Oh yeah, he's so good. By the way, this review was released January 1st, 1975. That seems early since this didn't come out till June, but that's what this website says. Maybe they just plugged it in and then... This is the 1975 review.
Or Roger Ebert was so famous that he just got to see it 6 whole months early.
I don't think that was the case.
Probably before it was done.
I'm almost certain his website just uploaded it, and whoever the intern was doing this just left January
plugged 1975 in.
Right. Yeah, and then January 1st to just stay there.
Anyway, I had to... So on Metacritic, on Rotten Tomatoes, there are 2 negative reviews for Jaws. The first one is by a guy who essentially just doesn't understand how movies work. And
yeah, he writes really beautifully, and
everything he complained about was just not something worth complaining about. And the other guy was like, well, I'm not really sure why people want a book about a shark or a movie about a shark, but this movie about a shark was better than the book about a shark, and I give it a 5.9. And so I had to turn to Twitter. I turned to Twitter user @Brandy with 3 underscores from a few years back, and she said, "Movies suck, shark looks fake."
I didn't think the shark looked that fake.
It's also like a 45-year-old shark.
Right. As far as practical effects go, I feel like this held up pretty well.
Yeah, especially when it's in the water.
Yeah. Like it looked really nice in the water. I felt like...
Well, and that's the brilliant thing about this movie, and I'm just going to dive straight into it right now. The brilliant thing about this movie is the shark doesn't have to work that hard because the shark is on screen for like 5 minutes.
Right.
In this
There's really
over
cool
2 hour
barrel
movie.
work, and that's about it.
Well, and you don't ever see the shark until I think it was like an hour and 28 minutes in.
Really?
Is the first time you see there's some fin action at one point, but the first time you see shark mouth on screen is when Brody's chumming the water like an hour and a half into it.
Right.
And he turns around and the shark's right there. Which, by the way, is, I think, we've talked about it a couple times in the past few weeks on this podcast, but I think is the greatest example in history of silence in a movie score.
Oh, so good.
Because every time there has been anything shark-related in this movie so far, anytime there's been any kind of like hint or whiff of a shark, we've gotten the the famous, the ultra-famous, movie score was used for the intro of Airplane. It's ubiquitous with the term shark, and then the first time you see the shark in the movie, no music, nothing, just dead silence, shark pops out of the water, and Brody throws a handful of fish guts at it, and turns around, sees it there, and just goes, "We're gonna need a bigger boat."
You know what I love about this movie? Pretty much everything. I think it's a near perfect cinema. But I think the cinematography here, especially in the second and third act, or whenever you want to say the part of the movie is when they're on the boat, is perfect. Like, every single shot was meticulously chosen,
it is throughout the whole movie.
Well done.
Like there's that one scene where you get the really weird, and I know Spielberg was 20 years before Tarantino, but the Tarantino like lens, the hard zoom on Brody's face when he hears the whistles going off and it hard zooms in on his face.
Yeah,
it's just like a quintessential shot. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I tweeted that out not too long ago. I love that shot.
Yeah.
And there's the shot where they're, like, chatting with the mayor, and they're, like, walking around, and then all of a sudden there's the giant poster behind them.
Yeah, of the shark the shark fin with the girl on the beach.
Right. And it's like, I don't know, I just think it's so amazing the way that they shot the whole thing.
The whole movie.
Everything is, like, in thirds throughout the entire boat scene. I love when he's laying at the end on the, like, mast or whatever, shooting at the shark.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, it's so good.
The whole movie, man. It's Steven Spielberg. Like,
yeah. But I mean, this is so much better than Ready Player One.
I mean, we might to some extent say that over the course of his long and storied career, Steven Spielberg may have just a little bit lost the edge.
You mean to tell me that Jaws is better than Ready Player One?
Yeah, obviously.
Because that's exactly what I just said.
Exactly. But it's like... And I don't want to say it like, you know, went down over time. It wasn't like a gradual decline, because like Jurassic Park's still an amazing movie.
Right.
And that was 15 years later or whatever.
Did you watch this in Blu-ray or 4K or
I watched
HD
it,
of any sort?
Well, I rented it from Amazon, so
Okay.
whatever
But you
that
rented
was.
it in HD.
Yeah.
And it looked HD.
Yeah.
You know what gets me about that? I just want to talk about how far we've come with like cinematic retouching or whatever.
Yeah.
Is like the behind the scenes photos from this movie are in black and white.
What do you mean?
Like I'm sitting here looking at behind the scenes photos where like a photographer came to set and took pictures of the thing, and they're like black and white photos because that was going to be the best way to take the pictures.
That was a common thing back then. Like we had color photo.
Yeah, I mean there's color photos in here as well. They do not look as good as the black and white
Yeah,
photos.
it's just, I think that's more of an artistic direction.
Right. But that's not something you see so much these days.
No, absolutely not.
Black and white is always an artistic decision.
Well, I mean, now my iPhone can take a better picture than 90% of cameras ever made in history.
I would say 99% of camera.
I mean, whatever. Like,
Unless you're including every iPhone ever made.
no, but like talking about like models, every model,
Right.
Not
Oh,
every
yeah.
individual iPhone. Like that's just way too big of a data set for no reason.
I know. That first shark, there's no way they thought that first shark was the real deal. I love that it has an arrow in it. I think that's hilarious.
Yeah, the tiger shark.
Yeah.
That ate the license plate.
Yeah.
No, obviously that scene is to just tell us that there's no rational thinking whatsoever going on.
Right. It's just get rid of the shark.
Right. As soon as we can say the problem has been wiped out, there's a lot of commentary going on here about, you know, find a scapegoat, pretend the problem doesn't exist, move on with your life.
Right.
It's
And
still
get
a shark
economy
that's out
back
there.
on board.
Yeah, they get the economy back on board, and then you're not going to realize there's a problem until it swims up and bites you in the
Quite literally. Eats a child.
Yeah.
Eats a dog, too.
does
Poor
eat a
baby.
dog. That is kind of glossed over.
It is kind of... But Pippin?
Yeah.
Pippin's death?
Because the dude's wandering around like, where's my dog? Where's my dog? Where's my dog at? And then the child gets ate.
And everybody's like, oh, now you can kill a child.
What?
I really meant to say now we pay attention, but...
Oh, now you can kill a kid.
now it's okay. I see how it is.
No, it's not okay to kill kids.
It's definitely not okay. It wasn't then, isn't now. Do you think this movie could have been made today? One, would it be rated R, regardless, because it's got like blood and gore and on-screen death? And two, could you kill a shark that small on camera?
I don't think they. What do you? There was no sharks that got killed.
No, I know. There's not actual sharks that got killed, but like, do you think there would be more like animal rights uproar if you made Jaws today?
No.
Really?
That's a really tough question because you're considering a world in which Jaws was never made.
Right.
Until today. That would have definitely changed the cinematic landscape.
Do you think Nolan would have directed it if it was today?
No, it'd be Michael Bay. And the shark would just explode. Like,
The shark does just explode.
I mean, no, it would be like it would level New York.
We dropped a nuke on the shark, sir.
Yeah, exactly.
Optimus Prime is fighting Jaws
That's a
right
really
now.
interesting question because I just don't think you can minimize the impact this has had on
Everything?
on this type of movie.
Right.
Because like, yeah, there's been, you know, brutal movies out before this, but it's like this just showed people getting ripped to pieces
Yeah. And there's like just body parts
and just
everywhere.
blood everywhere.
So you do think it would be rated R?
So in a world where Jaws doesn't exist, but everything else is the same.
I don't think that world exists.
No, but like, but you get what I'm saying. We've still had like Rambo and
Right.
all these bloody war movies and everything. Yeah, Jaws is absolutely rated R. There's not 5 minutes where somebody doesn't say over and over again.
Right.
And it's just awful. Like, because the first time you do it, you got to take it seriously. And now all these shark attack movies have been able to be blessed with some degree of like lightheartedness a little bit.
Well, and that's the great thing about Jaws is like, I feel like if it was made today, there would be a lot more swearing. Just in general. I also feel like it would have played up the love story between him and his wife.
Absolutely.
A little bit more. It would be like...
It wouldn't have been a wife.
No, it would have been like a girlfriend, and you get shots of her back on shore, like concerned about him.
Yeah.
Or he'd be like texting her, and she'd be like...
Whereas like an hour in when they leave the boat or they get on the boat, it's like the shore's gone.
Yeah, the shore doesn't even matter anymore.
Yeah, which I think is a really interesting choice for this movie. I'm glad they did that. I'm glad they made it that way because the first half of this movie is just so frustrating.
It really is. Brody's just trying to like, he's super concerned about this shark, and he is like all three of the leads are like man's men. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're guys, but they're all like guys in different way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like Brody is the chief of police, and he's about protecting people, and he's concerned about his family.
He's a family man. He's Call of Duty guy.
Right. And Quint is like he's a veteran, and he's right. I've got that right.
Yeah, he's a Navy vet.
Yeah, and I can never remember their names. I'm really bad at the names in this movie.
It's Brody, Quint, and Hooper.
Yeah, and nobody else matters.
Yeah,
at all. But Quint is, he's like a rough and tough kind of man. He shoots things, and he's got a fishing boat, and he kills sharks in his free time, and scratches the chalkboard and all that.
Yeah.
And then Hooper's like this, he takes it upon himself to be smart and brave and dive in the water with the sharks, and he's got all the scars and everything, and they're all drinking buddies. And I don't know, I think it's they've got, like, Ebert's not wrong when he says they've developed into human beings we get to know and care about. Like, their character personalities, more so than I think most works of fiction that even we talk about here, are so clear.
And relatable.
They're very well explained. They make decisions that their character would make. Like when it comes to the sorting thing, I have no idea where these people will be sorted into, but I feel like if we were to draw a comparison to like Geek Culture 2018, if there was ever 3 characters that I feel like you could really become the character of that aren't like one-dimensional comic book characters, then I feel like these 3 really do like fit a very interesting.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And this movie is just written so well. Like, regardless of what happens on screens, like, the script is impeccable. I mean,
cannot be packed.
Right. The dialogue between everybody is just so believable. It's like, a lot of times I have trouble thinking, man, do people really talk to each other like that? And like, yeah, they absolutely do in this movie.
Yeah. And one of the things I love about this movie, we were talking about this before recording, is that like in the mid-70s, sound mixing wasn't what it is today. So like when making a film, you had to be really careful about like who was talking and when and how you were going to make that work. And like, shots on beaches were impossible back then. They were even impossible like in the past 10 years with Lost. Like every line on the beach had to be re-recorded. I don't know if that's the case with Jaws. I don't think it is.
No, it's not, because they just let the cacophony happen.
Right.
And you can kind of hear the conversation that's going on, and that adds to the whole thing.
Well, and that's one of the things I love is in one of the first scenes where he gets on the phone and he's talking to somebody. I don't even know what he said because it's so distracted.
Yeah, the receptionist just won't shut up.
Not even that. I'm talking about when he's in the house and he gets on the phone and his wife is in the background talking to the kid, and you can like hardly hear what's going on the phone, and it shows how like people do not really care what's going on. They only care about themselves. And it's like, they're going to talk to the chief of police with their selfish problems.
Right. And that's just the kind of town they live in.
Right.
It's just it's Andy Griffith. It's Mayberry on like a Massachusetts island.
Yeah, everybody knows the chief of police. Everybody's somebody parked their car where it's not supposed to be. You know who they are, and you go tell the chief of police.
Right, and that's like a constant thing in Andy Griffith. Is he's trying to solve crime and stop stuff from happening. And, and people are just like, well, Andy, I mean, somebody ran off with one of my chickens.
Right. It's like,
and it's the same way as everybody wants a piece of Brody.
Yeah.
And he's just like, can you guys just shut up? I've got a kid that got murdered by a shark.
Right. It's like, well, the Hooper boys are parking on my yard. I don't know why I said Hooper. That's a name in the movie. But
yeah, so-and-so parked their car in front of my house.
Okay, that's fine.
That's great. Talk to somebody else. Like,
right.
There's 20 people here.
And he's got no assistance whatsoever.
Just that one guy.
Yeah. It's like if there's crime in this town, it's his problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Him and his deputy.
Yeah. No matter how small. It's so good though.
It's so good. And normally I hate these movies that rely so much on that secondhand stress and frustration, because it's just like it's so frustrating. It's an uncomfortable feeling, and it's like normally it's used very poorly in movies where it's just like you end up feeling embarrassed for the character and like not in a fun way.
Right.
But in this movie it's used very well. It's it's not subtle, but it's very elegant almost. The way they make you feel for Brody and feel how frustrated he is. Nobody's listening to him. All they care about is tourism and their petty problems. And he's just trying to save people's lives, and they're not letting him do it. The mayor's crossing him every time he talks. And all they care about is, let's save the rest of the summer. And then finally the mayor has that scene in the hospital where he's like, my kids were out there too.
Right.
And figures his stuff out. But until that moment, it's just super frustrating for Brody, because every time he turns around, there's somebody else in his face just like, well, you're not going to close the beaches, are you? He's like, obviously we're going to close the beaches.
Yeah, obviously, yes, we're going to close the beaches. This isn't...
People are out here getting eaten by sharks. Like, this is an obvious thing. And the mayor's just like, well, they'll be happy to go swim in the Hamptons. I'm like, cool.
Great, get them to the Hamptons.
Yeah, they'll be back next year. Yeah, he's like, do we have any beaches closed signs? They're like, obviously not. Why would we have those?
Why would we ever close the beaches?
Yeah. under any circumstances.
I don't think, and maybe this is me being very open to everything else beach towns have to offer. I could be the minority here. I'm sure if the beaches are closed, less people are going to visit a beach. That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
That adds up. But I don't think it would be like debilitating for most beaches that I go to.
I think if the beach that you go to in North Carolina would cease to exist if you closed the beaches.
Well, yeah, there's nothing else to do there. But like Anna Maria Island,
I've never been there, but the Outer Banks would fall off the map.
yeah, I guess you're right. It would become like way less interesting. But like if you and I were to go on a road trip to Cape Cod, the beach would be like my final priority.
Yeah, because we live in the South.
Right. Like, I don't want to go to that cold New England beach.
Nobody goes, with the exception of people that come from like New York and Connecticut to go to the Cape and to Martha's Vineyard, nobody goes north to go to the beach.
Right.
It's like people from New York come down here to Virginia and sit their ass on Virginia Beach and think it's the greatest thing ever, and then everybody from Virginia is like, I need to get anywhere but this state to go to the beach.
Yeah.
And they go to the Outer Banks, they go to North Carolina, they go to Myrtle Beach, which is just as terrible.
No, Myrtle Beach is terrible for different reasons than Virginia Beach. Myrtle Beach's beaches are fine. Virginia Beach's beach is what's terrible.
Yeah, the beach is nice, it's just full of people constantly. So is Myrtle Beach.
Ugh. I would hate that.
I firmly believe, and I'm sorry to anybody that lives in Myrtle Beach, move, but if there's any truly place I believe was created by a satanic influence on Earth, it is Myrtle Beach.
It's a terrible place.
I would pretty much rather be anywhere in the world.
I don't mind going for a day and doing the shopping, but I don't want to do the water in Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, I stayed there for like a week and a half one time on like a beach trip.
Oh,
and
God.
It was hellacious.
I believe it. I totally believe it.
It made the beach not fun. Because there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people in the same, block radius as I am on the beach.
Right. And it's not like the movies where everybody's a supermodel.
No.
It's everybody's mad at each other. Nobody's having fun.
Yeah. There's people trying to fish where people are swimming.
Oh, God. That is my least favorite thing at beaches.
Yeah. Just go to the pier, man. Stop fishing in the surf.
Right.
Stop it. And that's any beach anywhere. I'm not just saying that's a Myrtle Beach problem. You find the most isolated stretch of beach, any coastline on America, and there's that one dude out there in his waders fishing in the surf while people are trying to have a good time.
Swimming and playing.
And he's just mad.
It's like, I know a way to solve your problem, buddy.
Hey, look, and that was the thing that bothered me so much about when that happened, when you and I went on that beach trip with your family, is that we were, 1,000 feet from the pier, maybe?
Yeah, not far
Yeah,
at
and
all.
there was dudes just standing there.
When have you been to the beach with my family in the summer? I know. We were 20, right?
Yeah, it was like this time 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
5 years ago. We were not, or was I 21? No,
neither of us were 21.
I was 21 when we went
that
into
same
the Harry
fall.
Potter thing.
Yeah, that same winter, because I was not 21 then.
And we did not drink the Fireball.
No, you drank the Fireball. I had nothing.
At the beach?
The Fireball was the winter.
There was I remember the summer trip. We were in the house my parents always get, and there was like a shot dispenser.
Yeah, and it had Old Gay or something.
Mount Gay rum.
Mount Gay rum and Jim Beam.
I thought it had Fireball.
No, the Fireball was the fall. It was the winter.
I remember the winter trip was the first time I'd ever been iced.
Although I will tell you, there was the house that we stayed next to, the house that was next to the Sea Lavender, that summer trip, was flying a Fireball whiskey flag.
That's right.
So there was Fireball definitely exists. Like, I knew about it, but just that trip was the Mount Gay rum Jim Beam shot dispenser trip.
And there was we had like hard Solo cups. They were like
I still have them.
Yeah, you can like wash them or whatever. Yeah. And I specifically remember being under the impression that if I took a shot, like not shot a shot, but like stole a shot from the machine, that nobody would notice. That like people didn't realize that the level of liquid has gone down. Since then, I feel like I've learned that if somebody takes a drink of something, it is noticeable.
Yeah, even if you pour one shot out of a bottle of whiskey, it's noticeable immediately.
Right. It's like, it's gone. Okay. That was a wild trip. That was the last time before we recently did it that I think I even watched like an entire Harry Potter movie beginning to end.
Same.
Like
same. That was definitely the fact.
Yeah, like start to finish. I've seen bits and pieces on, Freeform's Harry Potter weekend, but
anyway, I can tell you that I'm not going to take anywhere in Massachusetts seriously as a beach town because their season in this movie starts like the last week of June.
Yeah, and
Here in the South, we're 2 weeks before Memorial Day.
yeah, you're not necessarily in the water then, but you're at the beach.
You're in the water on Memorial Day weekend. It's cold. I mean, the Atlantic Ocean never gets warm.
It does in Florida.
I mean, even that's February, but I was like, I've been to the beach in Miami, and it's still not that warm. But that was February. But like the Atlantic Ocean, our part of the coast, the part that's not blue, where the water's greenish.
Green.
Yeah, it never gets warm.
Yeah.
Ever. Like it's definitely palatable, especially toward July and August, but it's not it's not a bath.
Right. It's not the Gulf.
Yeah, it's not the Gulf. It's not the Caribbean.
Oh, the Caribbean. I went into the water in Mexico in December, and it was frigid.
I went into the water in the Bahamas in February, and it was quite nice.
I mean, it wasn't like... when we were there, it was, like, really rough. I think normally at that particular resort, the water's, like, blue, and you can go and enjoy it. It's calm and everything. But for whatever reason, while we were there...
I believe you went there just after a hurricane, or possibly just before.
I don't know. It was not nice. We didn't get in the water that much, but we did get in the pool a lot. That was awesome. No sharks in the pool. There was a bunch of people teaching aerobics classes, though.
Neat.
Water aerobics. Oh, yeah.
No sharks, though.
No
positive.
Sharks. There were some land sharks that I was drinking.
Neat.
Zero burrito.
I do love a good land shark.
I'm going to totally change the subject real quick. So this month, what month is it? August?
August, yeah.
August 2018 is a 3-paycheck month.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with this?
My job for the last 3 years paid me every 5th and 20th. So
well, in other businesses where you get paid every other Friday, you get 2-3 paycheck months a year. It's like a thing because there's 26. 52 divided by 2 is 26 pay periods. 24 plus 2.
There's 5 Fridays in August.
Right. And the first Friday is 2 weeks after. It all lines up the way it's supposed to. So as a result, this August, I decided I was going to splurge at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Have you ever done this?
No, not really, honestly.
I typically don't buy snacks, either in the form of like chips or crackers or anything like that. Mostly because it's not healthy, and partially because I don't want to spend the money. Like, I could always get them, but I don't. I just think it's a better practice not to. So I decided I was going to splurge at the grocery store and get snacks and 3 cases of soda, which I haven't bought soda and kept it in my fridge since I think you and I lived together.
Yeah, no.
Like, it's just a ridiculous thing to purchase. It's terrible for you. It takes up a lot of space. Not cheap. All of the above.
Yep.
Plus, you could just buy beer. But I bought like a case of Dr. Pepper and 2 cases of ginger ale, which I've got right here. And I found out why there's no reason to splurge at the grocery stores. Because if I have the snacks, I just eat them.
You don't save them.
Constantly. I don't save them. It's like a challenge. It's like, well, I've still got 4 packs of crackers in there. I want to get rid of those because I want to free up that space.
And then all of a sudden you eat crackers for dinner.
Right. And you've eaten a ton of crackers. And they're terrible for you.
Yeah.
And it's awful. And like, it's the same way with the fridge. It's like, I open the fridge and I'll be like, those Dr. Peppers are taking up a lot of space. And, I'm trying to treat myself here. So I'm just going to crack open a 4th one today.
Yeah, you notice you're starting to get older when you start to gravitate toward different things as being like a luxury or a treat. Because like, I went to the grocery store about a month ago and I was just like, man, I'm gonna get myself something nice. And what I walked out with was a box of Ritz crackers.
There you go.
And I was just like, I don't know why I underrated these as a child. This is the best snack ever.
This is exactly right. Like, I remember
there's nothing better than the vaguely buttery flavor of a Ritz cracker. Just a
vaguely, I would say aggressively buttery flavor.
Well, it's aggressively flavored, but it doesn't necessarily remind me of butter in the way it probably should.
It's definitely super buttery.
Because it doesn't, it doesn't taste like what I would imagine you melted butter on a plain cracker to be.
Right. It's a very good cracker.
It's like it tastes like buttery, but it doesn't taste like there was ever butter involved in it.
Right.
It was just injected with butter flavor.
It's very good. Ritz crackers are amazing.
Ritz crackers are amazing. I guess they can't be worse for me than like chocolate chip cookies.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
But that's not like a good substitute.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, if that's going to be my treat, I think I'm taking a step in the right direction.
I think so too. And
it's like I would eat a sleeve and then put it away for a week and then eat another sleeve.
You put it away for a whole week? I would eat a sleeve and then I'd be like, well no, but time for another
sleeve.
The
problem is I got to sleeve number 4 and I was like, this is stale.
This is not good anymore.
Yeah, I mean, the only time I ever have soda in the house is when I'll like go visit my parents and I'll be walking out the door and my dad's like, you want a case of ginger ale? I'm like, yeah, why not?
Yes, I do. That's mine. Like, we used to keep beer in the house. There's like a drawer in the fridge for, I don't know, we don't organize our fridge nearly as well as we should. And we usually put like a case of beer in there. And then with beer, like, I'm a lot more disciplined because if you have like 6 beers, now you can't operate. Well, if you have like 2 beers, now you can't operate heavy machinery, right? And it's like, crap. Well, now I'm stuck. But if you have 2 sodas, you can operate heavy machinery.
You just keep on cracking.
Right, you just keep on cracking those bad boys open. So, beer does a lot better job of like, it's definitely way worse for you. Well, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how that works. But I also like am less interested in drinking 6 Coors Lights in a row.
Yeah.
It's not as delicious as like a Coca-Cola.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Man, ginger ale isn't good for you either. Turns out.
No?
No. I mean, it's
36 grams of carbs in this ginger ale.
there's 32 in mine.
And 35 grams of sugar.
Yeah, 32.
This is so bad.
32 grams of sugar in my ginger ale, which is weird because it's not particularly sweet.
No.
That's why I gravitate to Schweppes, is because it's less sweet than other ginger ales. And I guess it is less sugar than yours, but I don't know, man. That's wild.
36 grams of carbs. I'm going to get so fat from this freaking ginger ale.
You bought 2 cases. I mean, it's better than the Dr. Pepper, I can imagine.
Yeah, it is. I got a Dr. Pepper can here as well. 40 grams of carbs.
Cool.
In this one can.
Yeah.
Maybe beer is better for me. Maybe I should start pounding beers every day.
It's not a sugar thing, but if you're talking about straight carbs, beer is not better for you.
What are you talking about? A Mick Ultra has like 2.6 carbs.
I don't like
2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories. That makes it better for this better than this Dr. Pepper in every way.
And Mick Ultra, that doesn't sound right.
Mick Ultra is like the good for you beer.
Oh, it's calories. It's calories. The Mick Ultra was advertising there where it was like 95 calories or whatever.
It is 95 calories.
Yeah, I was thinking that was carbs.
That would be awful. That would be so dangerous.
I mean, yeah, whatever. Beer makes you fat. Bread makes you fat.
Bread makes you fat?
Yeah, bread makes you fat. But I was thinking about Miller 64, and I thought Miller 64 was low because it had 64 carbs. It's 64 calories.
Yeah.
Miller 64 also has 2.8% alcohol, so...
No.
Yeah, they don't make it anymore, I don't think.
Do they?
I haven't seen it in years.
I remember we got so excited. It was right after we both turned 21 that Miller put out like Royale or whatever. What was it called?
Oh, it was Miller. It was like dark.
It was like Miller Spades. It was a spade was the logo.
Miller Fortune.
Miller Fortune.
It is a spade.
They still make that?
I'm not sure. It was good.
It is 6.9%.
It was good, yeah.
Oh man, now I'm learning so much.
Miller
Anyway,
Fortune.
moral of the story: don't ever buy snacks, don't ever buy beer, and you'll just be happier in life.
Yeah, never buy beer ever. Oh, and Budweiser.
No.
Budweiser made Budweiser Black Crown, and it was terrible.
That
It was
sounds
like
bad.
the response to Miller Fortune.
Miller Fortune was terrible.
I liked Miller Fortune.
Even there's a review on. Oh, I thought it was on Miller.com. Well, I was like, that's brutal. But it's brewguru.com/Miller Fortune. Anheuser-Busch's high-strength premium lager. Miller Fortune, though, ups the ante with an alcohol content. Oh, it was their answer to Bud Light Platinum. That was the Anheuser-Busch. 6.9% by volume compared to 6% for Bud Light Platinum. The merit of a good beer, however, is based on far more than its alcohol content, which is a way of saying I'm about to tell you all of the reasons why this is a bad beer. And here's what gets me about beer people and major beer companies. It's like, I get it. Craft beer is better than Bud Light, Miller Lite, and Coors Light.
Yeah.
Bud Light, Miller Lite, and Coors Light all taste the same. I get it. We're all on the same
Bud Light
page
and Miller
there.
Lite taste the same. Coors Light tastes different. It's
Yeah.
not better or worse. It's just I could tell you. You put 3 of them in front of me, I'm gonna tell you which one's Coors Light.
But
Probably. I don't know.
At the end of the day, those 3 beers are similar enough that like you're not cool because you know that those aren't
I'll
good
tell you
beers.
what the problem is this is the problem we ran into, is we turned 21 right at the height of the Shock Top Blue Moon Belgian wheat craze.
Yes.
If I never have another Blue Moon the rest of my life, I'm good.
Really?
Yeah.
I love a good Blue Moon. It's what I get when I go to Buffalo Wild Wings.
don't.
Which
I
is
don't like-
that's how
I don't really like
I double
Hefeweizens.
down on my trendy beers when I go to Buffalo Wild Wings because I'm at a stupid trendy restaurant.
Yeah, I never buy those anymore. I mean, there's a couple. I just finished my 100 beer list from Jack Brown's
Well done.
last night.
Bravissimo.
And there is not I'll be honest with you, there's not a single like domestic, light lager on there.
Man, do you know how frustrated I got when I was serving beer for the first time in my life and I was like, this is not an import, this is a domestic, even though it was like a craft beer.
Yeah, but there's no Bud Light, Miller Lite, or Coors Light on my list. I'll be real with you. I think the closest I got, I might have had a PBR at one point.
PBR, I'll drink PBR more than I'll drink like Busch.
I would rather have a PBR than a Bud Light.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know. Sometimes I'd rather
had
have a
PBR.
PBR than any of the other PBR alternatives. Like people will buy like Rolling Rock and be like, oh, this is
You know
the
what
same
beer
PBR.
is in Jaws?
What beer?
Narragansett.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Narragansett is terrible.
Narragansett is the beer of
You also
champions.
like Jenny Cream.
Yeah, my Northeast terrible beers.
Genesee
are-
Cream Ale is terrible.
I like the Genesee Red better. I don't know what it's actually called. What's it called? Is it just red lager? Whatever's in the red can.
I've never seen a Genesee in a red can.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, I don't spend as much time in that part of the world as you have. I've spent my fair amount of time, but I also haven't been to New York since I was 21. So
okay. There's the white can with the red label. It's just Genesee beer. And there's blue can with white label. That's Genesee Light. There's black, 8%.
I've never seen anything other than the green. I'll be honest with you.
Oh, man. You got to go to more weird
Genesee,
Krogers.
Genesee Light, Genesee Cream, and Genesee Ice. They make an ice. Jesus Christ.
But Narragansett, man, that's the beer of champions.
I'm not that crazy about any of those Northeastern beers.
It's terrible. You know what I'm not crazy about, as long as we're talking about beer? Freaking Natty Boh.
National Bohemian is terrible.
Gosh. Everybody in Maryland.
Turns out Narragansett is a place.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. I searched Narragansett in Google Images, and it got me a lot of beautiful beach towns.
You know what's weird is you have to be over 21 to go to beer websites. I guess that makes sense, but and this one won't let me click, yes, I'm over 21, which is weird.
Narragansett Lager. Narragansett Lager looks like it is the American beer.
Oh, it's so good.
Since 1890.
So you see this picture. I'm gonna drag it into Skype and send it to you. This is what he drinks in the movie.
Oh, with the it's out of a soup can. It's with the pull top.
Yeah, with the full pull top. It's like whoosh, you pull the whole thing off. I feel like that's a good way to cut your lips. I don't know. Narragansett also presents Dell's Shandy. I didn't know that. Oh man, this is a beer. Welcome to Bacon and Eggs Talks Jaws and Beer. What do you buy at the grocery store, Ethan? Do you cook your own food or do you eat out a lot?
Both.
I eat out probably more than the average.
I definitely eat out more than I should. I have recently, especially. I've just been so busy.
Yeah.
I'm not making excuses. It's just
oh no, I'm the
truth.
same way. I'm way too busy. It's but what's weird to me is that it's more convenient to go out. How is that possibly the case? Making a bowl of cereal takes 3 seconds, and that's a perfectly acceptable dinner. But going out requires me to drive to the restaurant, get out of my car, order, wait, eat, pay.
I have a box of pasta and some sauce that I need to cook, and I think after that I've probably cooked my last meal in this apartment because I'm reaching the point where I need to start packing stuff.
You're never leaving there, Ethan.
I am moving in a week and a half.
So when it comes to Jaws, what is your favorite scene in the movie?
Good Lord, I kind of forgot what you're talking about. We went well and truly off topic there.
I like when we do that. Sometimes we get giggly, and other times we just have a real conversation
about terrible beer.
About terrible beer, and I think that's what makes this podcast what it is, it's raw and it's real, and that's what I love about the cinematography in Jaws. Okay, is that there's one scene that wastes its time on lighting. Okay, it's a great scene, might be the best scene in the movie, where they're in the boat and the lamp is shaking back and forth. Otherwise, what
are you talking about?
The storytelling scene.
We're
talking about the USS Indianapolis. Yeah. That's the only scene in the movie that wastes its time on thoughtful lighting. Otherwise, it intentionally gives you this bright, sweaty, New England salty feeling with the costumes and the tan on their skins and everything, and then there's just clear blue New England skies the whole time that light the rest of the film.
That's so weird that you say that, because in any scene on the beach, in the first half of the movie when I'm on the beach, I was always struck with the fact that it looked very cloudy.
But it's not cloudy.
It is though. It's just not sunny. It's not blue sky when they're on the beach.
I'm just looking through shots from the film right now. I'm trying to find the beach. If you just look at shots from this movie, it looks like much more of an action film than it really is. I love this shot, by the way, where Robert Shaw is standing on the front of the boat? The bow?
Yeah.
With the bow, and it's got the depth effect where the sort of rails are going towards him and then he's leaning against them but facing the rest of the boat. He's got the gun in his hands.
Yeah, where you're looking from Hooper's perspective driving the boat.
Right.
Or Brody. I can't remember which one at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, where he's trying to shoot the shark. Absolutely. I was struck that was a great scene during the movie. I was like, they really made this look real, even though it's clearly in front of a green screen.
I don't think they're in front of any green screens.
In that scene, they definitely are.
I thought this was all done in the water.
The ocean is not... And it may be that they just cut different ocean in or whatever, but the ocean is not in front of him at that point. It's you can tell there's almost a line around the boat.
I didn't think any of this was green screen. I thought it was all practical.
I mean, and it may be, but it definitely looks like it. 100%. I absolutely noticed that.
I need to get me a giant shark.
No, you don't, actually. Fun fact. That sounds like a terrible idea.
Just imagine.
What are you going to do with a giant shark?
I want this shark. from Jaws. I want to own it.
Like the animatronic shark?
Yeah, Bruce.
What are you going to do with it?
Dude,
you don't
hang
have
it
room
up.
for that in your house.
You know what
It's
I love
25
is that
feet
when
long.
I know. It'd be bigger than every room in the house. Maybe it could fit in my dining room.
Put it on the roof.
Be a little slanted. Definitely wouldn't fit in this
Just
office.
roaring from your front porch.
That would be great. I mean, can you imagine people would be like, oh my god, look at that guy. He's got the shark. Santa Jaws just came out. When you sent me that was a premiere. Santa Jaws came out like last week.
Santa Jaws?
Yeah.
What is Santa Jaws? Oh, I sent that to you. Yeah,
know
I
you
forgot
did.
about
That's
that.
what I was talking about.
Forgot about
Santa Jaws is a new sci-fi film. Apparently terrible.
I believe it. That's the movie where the guy like wishes his whole family was eaten by sharks for Christmas, and then they are.
Oh god.
That's what it's about. Santa Jaws. Why was that released in the middle of the summer?
I don't know. It may not have just been released, but there's just an article written about
2018,
it.
yeah.
My question is, has the word coroner changed the way it's been spelled since 1975?
How is it spelled?
In the film, it's coroner. C-O-R-N-E-R.
I don't think it's been changed. It may be a problem.
Because, and I would say it's like an error, but it's in that shot, which is an excellent shot, where he's typing out shark attack on the typewriter.
When Brody is typing his initial report on Chrissy's death, the recipient is the coroner's office as opposed to coroner. It is possible this is an intentional choice in filmmaking, as is Brody's first report to the office, and done so under emotional stress.
But it's spelled coroner twice.
Where?
It says removed to address coroner's office. Removed by C-corner, name and unit. And then it says probable cause of death, shark attack.
I mean,
that's a great shot, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
Where it looks at him and then doesn't it come around and zoom in on the thing?
Yeah.
God, camera work in this movie is so good.
It is very good. He did a very good job with it. It is very Hitchcock, especially that shot in particular that you just mentioned.
Yeah, when you just look at the still from when it does the super zoom on his face, you can feel the camera moving, even though it's not.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very well shot movie. It's a very well written movie, very well acted movie. I mean, I'm not crazy about Richard Dreyfuss in movies. He usually drives me nuts. There's been a lot of times where I would list him as my least favorite part of a movie, but he did just phenomenally in this movie.
He's Hooper,
Yeah.
right? What other? I mean, obviously he's a huge famous name, but I'm having a hard time placing him in other films.
He is the psychiatrist in What About Bob? And he's just a royal jack.
He's still acting.
He was in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And he was an idiot, and he was annoying, and he's spent a lot of stuff where he's like an idiot and annoying. He played Dick Cheney.
In what?
W. Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin. I love Josh Brolin.
I do too. But he's not in this movie.
No. He wasn't active in 1977, I imagine, as he was 9.
He could be. Who knows?
It wouldn't be impossible. Was W any good?
Yeah, it was all right. Not my favorite movie I've ever seen, but not terrible.
You know what's crazy about Josh Brolin is that he is Cable and Thanos.
In the same year.
And in the same year. But not only that, he is not known for being either of those characters.
Oh, that's silly.
Yeah, he's known for No Country for Old Men, Inherent Vice, Milk, and W.
Oh, he was Richard Dreyfuss in Stand By Me. It's a great movie. He played the narrator, and he was just annoying. And that's Will Wheaton. What the
Yeah, you didn't.
I did not know that.
Oh, that's like the
I learned
thing.
that right now that's Will Wheaton.
That you were today years old.
I was today years old when I learned that Gordy LaChance is Will Wheaton. What the heck? How did I not know that?
Yeah, that's like the whole thing.
I did not
Wheaton.
know that. Wow.
You know what's crazy about Will Wheaton is I'm not sure I know what the hype about Will Wheaton even is.
He was on Star Trek, and then he plays Will Wheaton on The Big Bang Theory. And apparently he was Gordy LaChance.
Who was he in Star Trek? Was
Wesley
he
Crusher.
Picard? Who's Wesley Crusher?
The guy that Will Wheaton plays in Star Trek in The Next Generation.
Is he
he's like a bumbling idiot.
So he's not the Captain Kirk character?
No, that's Patrick Stewart.
Oh, duh. So I'm looking at this poster for Star Trek: The Next Generation. Is he the guy with the beard?
No, he's not like a main character.
What?
Yeah, that's not Will Wheaton with the beard. That's
Who's the guy with the beard?
It's Data. Or no, it's
No, Data's in top right. This is very descriptive. I don't know anything about Star Trek, if I'm being 100% honest with you. Riker.
Yeah.
Who plays Riker?
Jonathan Frakes.
Is he good?
It looks like he is known for being Riker.
That's all.
Yeah, Star Trek First Contact, Star Trek Insurrection, Star Trek Generations, and Star Trek Nemesis. 4 of the Star Trek movies as Riker.
All right. Well, back to Jaws.
Anyway, yeah. So Richard Dreyfuss is all right, and I learned things about Will Wheaton. Will Wheaton also narrates the Ready Player One audiobook and does a very good job of it.
Very, very good.
And he's Sheldon Cooper's arch nemesis in Big Bang Theory.
When it comes to sitcoms, why do people like The Big Bang Theory so much?
Because it's a show about smart people made for dumb people.
Is that it?
Yeah.
God, that show's bad.
Yeah, there's
It's unwatchably bad.
It didn't used to be.
No, the beginning.
It definitely had its moments. Like the first few seasons are pretty funny, and they had some genuinely different characters. But now it's just really annoying. It jumped the shark like 7 seasons ago.
What season are they on?
Like 11,
Yikes.
something like that. Probably not that many. There's a lot of seasons though. It's been on for a while.
I like the Johnny Galecki guy. I think that guy's. I don't like his character in the show. I think he's stupid. But he was Rusty in Christmas Vacation.
Yeah. That's another thing I think I sort of knew in the back of my head. Yeah, season 11 was finished up on May 2018.
Are they just gonna keep making it?
I think so.
God, I can't handle this show.
It says September 2007 to the present, so it's not over. I do like Johnny Galecki was in a really good movie with Jay Moore called Suicide Kings. It's worth your time. It's I'm trying to remember how to describe it. Jay Moore, that guy, 2 other people kidnap Christopher Walken, who's this like mob boss character, and it's hard to describe. You just kind of got to watch it. Apparently not, actually. It's got a 34% Rotten Tomato score.
43 on Metacritic.
Jesus Christ.
7 out of 10 on IMDb.
I enjoyed this movie quite a bit. Yeah, it's just about this.
It sounds like
this gang of 4 people that like they're all kind of like an archetypal person, and they all discover that they hate each other because Christopher Walken's this like vindictive jack who turns them against each other. I guess it's apparently terrible, but that's fine. Anyway, Jaws. Why do you what?
Who's Jay Moore? Why do I know that?
Jay Moore's that guy that he's the comedian. It's the thing about the beer for he used to love to quote.
Yeah, no, old Milwaukee's a beer for drink the house beer.
It's freaking great. That was a John Vitello thing.
Yeah, I showed him that.
Did you?
Fun fact.
He latched onto it, but that's Jay Moore. Yeah, that guy. He looks like Mr. Incredible, but like a real person, but smaller.
That's weird. That's exactly what he looks like.
That's what I've always thought. Every time I see Mr. Incredible, I'm like, that's just Jay Moore. Anyway, Jaws.
Right. A little bit of stress.
Jaws.
Yaws. If Bruce was in a house at Hogwarts, what house would he be in?
Bruce the Shark?
Bruce the Shark.
Probably Slytherin. He's pretty ambitious.
He is very ambitious. He just wants to
cunning. Yeah, cunning is definitely a thing because they're like, he has that scene where he's like, "Have you ever seen a great white do that?" And Hooper's like, "No, I haven't."
No, never in my life seen that.
So he's pretty cunning. He could pull those barrels down. He's not supposed to. He's ambitious. He jumps up on the boat to try to eat people.
You don't think he's brave?
No, not particularly. I think he tries very hard. Yeah, he's a Slytherin. It's definitely a Slytherin. If sharks were on land, they'd be reptiles. Sharks and snakes are very similar. No arms, bitey. Definitely a Slytherin. 10 out of 10.
This is me scratching my beard at you.
What does that mean?
Some ASMR.
Please stop doing that. It's not that kind of podcast. Neat 0 burrito 0. Anyhow, where do you rank Brody? What house is he in?
Brody, he's a puff, dude.
You think?
I mean, he's a family man. That's what gets me thinking about Puff. And he's like, what are the classifications? What do they care about? Let me pull up just a little guide because I'm no professional here. I mean, I am a professional. Of course I am.
So would you say that Hooper's a Gryffindor or a Ravenclaw?
Hooper?
Yeah.
He's a Ravenclaw every day of the week. He's a smart man.
He's brave, though.
No, he's not. Yeah, but he does it because he feels like he has to. Like, yeah, Hooper's the kind of guy that, like, if you were his boss, you'd be like, okay, Hooper, I need you to put out a best-selling record. And he wouldn't think of it as, like, an ambition to release a best-selling record. He would be like, okay, what steps do I need to take for a best-selling record to be on the shelves? Like, there would be no ambitiously attacking the cause. It would just be, all right, well, if you want to sell a best-selling record, first you need to learn how to play an instrument. I'm going to go practice piano for 20 years so that I know how to play piano well enough to sell a best-selling record. Okay, cool. And then 20 years later, he'd be like, all right, cool, I got the piano thing down. Now what do I need to do? Okay, I need to find Alicia Keys. Okay. And then he would just, like, get in touch with Alicia Keys, and, like, it wouldn't be exciting. It would just be a process. He's a Ravenclaw for sure.
So he's a Ravenclaw. So then you're saying that Brody is a puff, Hooper's a Ravenclaw, and Quinn's a Gryffindor.
Quinn's definitely a Gryffindor. Yeah, he's super brave.
Quinn's absolutely a Gryffindor. Yeah. Recklessly brave.
I don't know if he's the most chivalrous. Well, he might be. I mean, he says
I feel like he has a healthy respect
sleeping
for women.
with bow-legged women or whatever. Swimming. What does that even mean?
Just swimming. No idea. It's just one of those things that Quint says. There's the great scene where they're driving out of the harbor, like out of the dock, and it's just an endless track of Quint saying Quint things while they drive out. None of them makes any sense.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know what you're talking about. What does he say? I'm trying to remember the scene. Sorry. I was trying to
then say that.
Catch up to you, but I couldn't find the quotes fast enough.
It's not about the quotes.
Well, paint
Doesn't matter what he says.
What is, like I know you painted the picture for. What does he say?
I don't know what he says on the top of my head. It's a whole like 3 or 4 minutes of him just saying random catchphrases.
Yeah, that's
as
one of
they
the things
drive
I
the
loved
boat
about
out.
Quint the whole movie was that like
when Brody's wife runs away.
You
from the boat.
talked about a quote that I was waiting for the whole time where somebody says to Brody's wife, "Are you Brody's wife?" And she says yes, and then he says,
"No, it's Hooper." Hooper, when he comes over to dinner to tell Brody they need to go look at the shark, brings over the bottle of wine, and she answers the door, and he's just like, "Are you Chief Brody's wife?" And she goes, "Yes, I am." And he goes, "I'd like to speak with him." And she goes, "So would I."
What a brutal line.
Because he's clearly just sitting there,
he's drinking
not saying
brandy or
anything.
scotch or whatever, and then he pours the wine into the scotch. Is that correct?
Yeah. He's got a glass of scotch or whiskey or whatever, I don't know what it is, and some ice, and he takes the bottle of red wine that Hooper just opened and pours
then
wine over top of that, and like fills the glass up. And Hooper's just like, "You may want to let that breathe." Never
That's
mind.
fine.
Okay,
Yeah, we're just gonna. If it's that kind of day, it's that kind of day.
Um,
So the shark. So we've got all 4 houses represented here. Do you think that the author of the book met with J.K. beforehand to make sure that he got that down?
Probably not. If I had to take a guess, let's see here. Let me figure out the logistics of that real quick.
How old is Jaws the book? Now, a lot of
Jaws the book was written in
Wait,
1974. Yeah, Jaws the book was written in 1974. J.K. Rowling, the person, was made in 1965.
We're back to this.
So she'd have been 9.
Where somebody was 9 and therefore not in Jaws.
Yes, I would imagine that J.K. Rowling is
you think so?
Uninvolved in Jaws.
So there's no chance
Almost
that
entirely.
Brody is a member of the Makuza sent to spy on Amity Island.
I'm not saying there's no chance. Look, J.K. Rowling just wrote what was told to her.
Shouldn't we lock her up? I mean, she's saying some pretty crazy.
Why? It's not her fault that it's true.
It's not true, Ethan. The Harry Potter universe isn't real. That bridge in London is still standing.
It is, though.
They took out a bridge in the book.
That was
too.
the movie.
Yeah, but they took out a bridge that's still standing.
Not that bridge.
I imagine it is. Didn't they
know
take
if
out
it's still
Tower
standing.
Bridge?
No, just a random
they
bridge
took out
in
a
the
bridge in
English
London.
countryside. Not in the book.
Was that the first chapter of 5? They talk about that. What are you giggling at over there?
I was looking for those Quint lines that we were talking about when he just says a bunch of Quintisms, and this line is just Quint parentheses in shark's mouth parentheses.
He does get eaten by the shark. Very sad little scene you got going on. You lose your shipboat captain and the ship.
And the chip.
You also chum the water pretty good in an area where there's at least 15-foot tiger sharks. Also, man, if you're that tiger shark, how much of a lousy predator do you feel? You go to Amity Island and you're like, I'm gonna be the big bad shark here. I'm a huge tiger shark, and tiger sharks aren't even native to this area. And then freaking Jaws has to show up and be like, okay, you're a big shark, but I'm a big shark.
I'm a big shark.
I'm a really big shark.
And I have a
much
much
better
bigger
for
mouth.
eviscerating children.
Yeah, and they're just like, what is this bite radius thing we're talking about?
The townsfolk or whatever?
Yeah.
It is a big
Screw
shark.
Bite radius. That's a big shark.
Happy
man.
news, we got it out of the water. It looked like it didn't even have teeth, though. I thought they caught a whale, like they did in the Meg. I mean, obviously it's not a whale. It looks like a shark, but it looks like a shark without much teeth.
Yeah, I mean, in the Meg, they have the exact same conversation when Jonas is showing her the phone, and he's just like, hey, I don't know about that bite radius. And then there's obviously a second shark, and it eats
the first
wall.
shark off the boat. What a wild
That too.
movie. Yeah.
The Meg?
I mean, I don't think
I'm
you
team
have
The
to
Meg.
see it. I think it's a great summer blockbuster, no doubt about it. But if somebody's like, I've never seen The Meg, I'm not going to be like, how dare you?
Well, I don't think that's what makes it a 1.
Yeah,
we
no
never
doubt
said if this
about
movie
it.
is a
If
1
you
or not.
are
This
at
movie's a
all
1.
a film person, you need to see this before you watch Titanic. I said it. I said if you're at all an aspiring film person, you need to go watch Jaws before you watch Titanic.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
There's a
As
whole
long as
list
we're
of
talking
movies you
about
need to see before Titanic.
Water thrillers, I think this comes before Titanic. You do need to see Titanic. That's
This comes
on the
before a lot of
list.
things.
But watch this first.
Yeah. This,
Right.
It's a dumb dichotomy, though. I mean, you can do both if you got.
I'm curious.
7 hours.
What are we looking at on time here? I don't know what else I have.
Hour
to
and
say,
22 minutes.
I really don't.
So I've said this. I know I have a little bit of change of topic, but still on Jaws. I've said this every single time that we have reviewed a movie with a John Williams score, and I have said this exact phrase. I think this might be John Williams' best work, but
Do you really?
I think this might be John Williams' best work.
I actually disagree with you.
It's pretty good.
I agree that it's an
pretty good.
amazing
This is
score.
a pretty amazing
I agree.
score.
I've heard the story. I don't know if it's true that John Williams was with Spielberg, and Spielberg was like, I'm making a shark movie. You got 6 months to come up with something. 6 months later, he walks into his office. He sits down at the piano and he plays 2 notes. right next to each other.
Yep.
That is true?
That is true.
Okay. So
that is a confirmed
I think
fact,
that's
yeah.
hilarious. And I think the Jaws theme is brilliant. There was one scene, though, where the music actually took me out of it in, I think, the wrong direction. So...
Okay, explain
towards
that.
the end, the shark has 3 barrels, and they are chasing the shark. And the boat's falling apart. The shark is not pulling them, but pulling the barrels, and they're chasing it down. The music is like triumphant. It's like excited, and to me, it took me out of it in such a way that it was like the danger is over. Is what it right? They felt like
because
was, but
they
I felt like
it
so
was.
many times in the movie.
You're talking about that scene. You're talking about that scene where Quint's like, we're gonna lead him back into shore. Yeah, absolutely. I'm absolutely with you. But I
think it's a negative thing because I think what the score does so well in this movie is in a lot of scenes the score will play the da right when you think things are normal or good and happy, and I feel like the score did like the score was like a third person omniscient point of view, and the characters were given a third person limited point of view, and it gives you a really cool experience as the viewer. And in this particular scene, I felt like the score was giving us the perspective of the characters as opposed to the perspective of the story as a whole, and to me that was a negative.
Yeah, I just don't agree with that. I see what you're saying completely. That's a very good point, but I just don't agree with it at all. That was the moment where I was like, "Damn!"
To me, the Jaws theme is what makes it a great score.
Because I felt like I love the theme, but to me, it's all the incidental music that happens in between, all the happy, bouncy,
now, this was
ET type music that just makes it feel like it's because to them they're on the boat, man. They're invincible. Nothing can hurt them.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I know, right?
Which is obviously not true. We see 2 minutes later, but.
Was this a film where I don't know if it was or not. I just don't know the research well enough. I know a lot of films in the 70s and 80s were filmed, and all of the sound effects came from the score. It's like gunshots and things like that were like not added in post. Was that the case with this or no?
I don't know.
That was like a normal thing back then. Like
I'm not really sure what you're saying.
The only sound that I don't know what I'm trying to say. There was practical effects in the music that played into the story.
Probably. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I'm not sure what this was. I know that in the scene with where the head pops out of the boat.
That was the scene.
Dave,
that was when I was like, "Oh crap, this is crazy."
So they made John Williams move that because there's just like the head pops out, and right before it there's this just like god awful screech of music. They made him move that screech to be a couple seconds before you see the head.
Okay, so then it's like
because apparently it was supposed to be the screech and the head at the same time, and people that saw it in tests just lost their minds.
That was the scariest moment in the movie.
Yeah, it was terrifying. It's like even the way it plays, and I think it ended up worse because of that. But even the way it plays, it's like I jumped out of my skin because the way it ended up, and I don't think it was any better because the way it ended up, it's like you hear that piece of music which calls your attention to something crazy is about to happen, and then the head pops out and you're like ready for it visually.
I wasn't
your
ready
mind's
for
not
it.
ready for
I didn't remember that scene from like previous viewings of this film, and I was like, oh my god, that's horrifying.
Yeah, it's actually shot in Steven Spielberg's pool. Fun fact. They shot an original version of it in the water with everything else, and then they were just like, Steven Spielberg was like, it doesn't look good, I can do it better, and just grabbed the severed head from the props and like a piece of the boat and like shot it by himself in an afternoon in his pool, and it ended up like that.
Absolutely horrifying.
Yeah, terrifying scene.
Like.
Yes, I did remember that because I've seen the DVD on TV like commentary thing for this a couple times, and that is one of the things that I remember.
They do DVD on TV for things that aren't Ghost Rider 2?
Being moved.
Wild.
Yeah, I think it's just Ghost Rider 2 and Jaws.
It's always
possibly
Ghost Rider
Groundhog
2
Day.
whenever I'm near a TV.
No, I've definitely seen it for Jaws and Groundhog Day.
Wild. I'm learning so much.
Possibly Independence Day as well, I think.
I've seen Groundhog Day. And Ghost Rider 2.
I know you haven't.
And Jaws. No.
But you haven't seen Independence Day.
I know I should.
It's unfortunate. You should really watch it.
I'm going to
it's a
see
good movie.
Crazy Rich Asians. It looks really good.
Nice. I've heard it is.
What are we talking about? Jaws. So you think this is the best score?
Jaws.
I don't know that it is. I think Star Wars might be the greatest film score of all time.
No, I don't think so.
You think it's Jaws?
I don't know if it's Jaws necessarily, and I actually don't think this is John Williams' best work. It's just like that thought always crosses my mind every time I hear a John Williams score. But as long as we're talking about grand movie themes for John Williams, Jurassic Park has a better theme than Star Wars.
Star Wars. So.
It's still not
Jurassic
my
Park
favorite movie theme. But
what is?
Yeah, The Magnificent Seven.
Really?
The original one, not the new one. It's just a really, really good.
I'm trying to
piece of
think.
music.
I was gonna give you. No, I haven't. I
you've probably never heard that theme, but. You should listen to it. Yeah, you should listen to it when you get a second. It's like it's a 7-minute long song, but you need to listen to like the first minute.
I like Catch Me If You Can. That's got a great.
Westerns have really good themes. Yeah. So a lot of my favorite like themes have been Western movies, especially Clint Eastwood movies. But that's a whole different topic we get into later. But as far as John Williams goes, yeah, I mean all his movies are amazing. The early Harry Potter movies had incredible scores. The Star Wars movies obviously did. This did. Jurassic Park did. E.T. did.
Man, people love E.T. That's one that I just don't buy into.
It's never
got
been
a
my
great
favorite.
score.
It does have an amazing score, though.
When it comes to E.T., I just don't care, you know?
Yeah. And that, I mean, that's the famous story of where he wrote the piece of music without having seen the final cut of the movie and turned the piece of music into Spielberg, saying, cut it up however you need. And Spielberg is like, nope, we're recutting the movie for this piece of music.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a famous story of John Williams and Steven Spielberg having their
That'd
interactions.
be a friendship I'd like to be a part of. Like, I could be Steven Spielberg.
John Williams and Steven Spielberg?
And I just get to...
Yeah, I mean, Steven Spielberg John Williams and Steven Spielberg have done a lot of great movies together.
You know it didn't have great music? Ready Player One.
What?
No.
I don't think it was John Williams. I don't think John Williams knows how to work a synthesizer that well.
This whole movie was...
They'd be like, hey, man, no strings. And he's like,
just say
I quit. I'm John Williams. I can do whatever I want.
Did it even have a score?
Ready Player One?
Alan Silvestri.
I mean, I can't remember anything about it. So
it should have been pretty good.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. It might be. I just don't remember it.
It was
Silvestri
originally
also does
John
a lot of
Williams,
great work.
actually,
And with Spielberg.
Yeah.
Really?
In fact, this was the first film that Spielberg did, major film that Spielberg did that John Williams didn't do, except for Color Purple and Bridge of Spies. So this is the third that he didn't do.
Well, I mean, Silvestri does all the Zemeckis movies, so he's obviously pretty
yeah, he's definitely not nobody.
Capable.
Back to the Future?
Yeah, he did your favorite movies. Yeah.
I do like Back to the Future.
I feel like we're about to have a hard conversation about Back to the Future.
You want to put this above Back to the Future? We're close to there. I think we can be there.
We're not there yet, are we?
I don't really have anything else to add, if I'm honest with you.
We could be there.
I don't know if it's an injustice or if it's just like I had an experience yesterday where I never related to boomers so well, and it was just
you definitely have related to boomers pretty well.
So you know how boomers always talk about like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that, where they would get all their friends together and play games, and it was a good time.
No, I think you have a fundamental misunderstanding of what a baby boomer is.
You know how the generation before us would say that, or even like the stickball conversation.
Sort of.
Yeah, well,
that's a baby boomer thing.
So when
baby boomers played outside.
What was the pinnacle best way to spend a night with your friends? Like, there was nothing better than this experience. A LAN party.
Oh, doing like a LAN party.
Yesterday, I went to a LAN party. Like a real deal LAN party. Actually, it wasn't, because in the Xbox One, you can't actually do LAN. So we just had 3 TVs in 3 rooms and 3 different Xbox Live accounts. And we just played custom games Halo. And that was like the best thing about growing up. Like, I have dreams about playing Halo with you and Chris and Devin and Evan and Mike and everyone. And it being like doing like custom games and having so much fun. And like Rockets is no fun when you're playing with a bunch of strangers on the internet, because somebody's inevitably very good at it. Or even anything online with strangers on the internet, because somebody's inevitably very good at it. But when you play with just friends who haven't played Halo in 10 years, everybody's equally bad except me, who was actually shockingly good, which was also a great feeling. But like last night, I went to this LAN party and I was playing the games, and I was like everybody was roughly the same skill and everybody was having a good time, and like this just feeling of pure joy. Like I smiled without anybody talking to me, without like anything happening, just playing video games, and just sheer elation across my face. And it was just absolutely amazing. And I related to the boomers because it was, or whatever the previous generation was, because it was always like, it was one of those the way things were back then moments that I like firsthand got to experience. And it was so fun. Like it was way more fun than like, and we bought like Mountain Dew and pizza and Doritos and
and so we had a couple years of that, and then everything started to move to online.
It was fun to do,
and it was still fun because you're playing with all your friends. It's like we all had the same games. It's like I remember staying up till 4:00 in the morning playing Halo 3 online with the same 8 people every time. We're just playing custom games, or there would be like eight of us in matchmaking. On,
and that was awesome.
One side of a BTV game.
And I just miss like that just doesn't happen.
It just doesn't happen anymore.
Like you doesn't even need to be LAN. It can be online.
Right. It's all about just crushing strangers in Fortnite.
I can't do Fortnite anymore.
And you play by yourself.
But
yeah, I never got into Fortnite.
But
I've only ever played
Halo.
At your house.
It stood the test of time. We had the Master Chief Collection, and we played every single game on there. We did a couple rounds at Hang 'em High. We played. I don't think we played Halo 2, but then we played a lot of Halo 3, which is the one I was the best at all of them. Like I don't want to toot my own horn because we were all relative to the competitive Halo community very bad, but I was winning every game last night. And Call of Duty.
It's just Call of Duty killed it, man. Honestly.
Yeah.
Well, Call of Duty spawned Fortnite. Fortnite is the rebellion to Call of Duty because it's a lot less twitchy. So it's more in the direction of Halo, what Halo used to be, but it's just
I just loved Halo. And we played Halo 4, and that was surprisingly good. That was the one, I remember playing it in our dorm when we lived with Sean. We played through the whole story in like 3 days, and then never touched it again. Well, I have the Master Chief.
Yeah, I think I still have your copy.
Yeah.
I mean, same, but...
Yeah,
I have your copy for like the 360. I mean, that's cool because you lost my Halo Wars, I don't feel bad about it.
I don't know. No, if I had it, I remember looking for it because I wanted to play it.
Well,
and I was gonna buy the second one because I wanted to play it, and I might do that today.
Halo Wars were always very disappointing.
Yeah, but
real-time strategy.
I also
games.
realized like the Halo lore. I never read the books, but I knew the lore more than I thought because like other people were like, "Why is even just simple stuff like why is 117 over our head?" Like that was just like the guest gamer tag was your little number was 117, and it was like that's because that's the Spartan's number.
Yeah, I mean, you just gotta pay attention to the story. You don't need to read the books. I mean, the story's pretty in-depth across the games.
But anyway, that was, I don't know if that, I definitely miss staying up late and playing video games and all of that. And now that I feel like I've done it, I feel like it was such an isolated experience that if we try to recreate it, it's never gonna be quite the same. Like you're gonna start thinking about like too much about the strategy or
you got to do that thing one time every
you can't
5 years
and that's
can't become
really
the norm
sad.
again.
Like it like breaks my heart that that's the case, but it also made me think that if we ever have the time and energy that Bacon and Eggs plays Halo would be a great even if we just did the campaign.
We've promised a lot of games that we have yet to play.
So anyway, that's not necessarily an injustice, but that's just something that really brought me joy this week. What about you, Ethan? Any injustices or joys or media check-in you want to bring in or anything like that? Anything you have an injustice?
I have an injustice. Yeah.
Who?
Harry's hat.
Harry Potter?
Harry.
Oh, that is some bad hat, Harry.
That's some bad hat, Harry.
That's your whole injustice? Oh. I do love that line.
I don't really have an injustice. The injustice is the fact that I have to move.
For Ethan?
I hate moving. It sucks. It stresses me out more than anything in the world. Legitimately.
You're going to have to move again, aren't you? I mean,
probably.
Live with your parents forever, are you?
I mean, yeah, I'm definitely have to move again, but I don't think it'll be as bad.
Apartment or a house.
Right, and I can do it like on my own time. And
are you gonna unpack when you get there? How is that gonna work?
I'm imagining what's gonna happen is I'm gonna pack everything into boxes. I'm gonna put most of it in my parents' storage unit. Take the things I need home. Move again in 6 months, bringing only the things I need, and then just going through and throwing everything I own away.
Do you ever I love throwing my stuff away.
My goal throughout this whole process of moving this time has been to decrease the stuff I own by half, and I'm not gonna get to half. I'm just not.
Why not? What do you even own?
Just a bunch of stuff.
Like that's what always blows my mind. It's like I'm always like, what do I even have to move? Like how many tools in this house do I really even use?
Well, it's like right now I'm just going through and putting everything away in boxes, and I've got like a box that's halfway full of books.
I love books.
I'm bringing all of my old textbooks to the mail place tomorrow to send them off to get money back for them. So I'm doing that.
Nice. Well
thing
done.
I've said I was going to do for the last 5 years. Yeah, I'm going to get like $100 back on textbooks, which I probably paid $700 for over the years, but whatever. And then I've got another box that's just kind of half full of like stuff, just like random odds and ends. And other than that, not a whole lot, honestly. I mean, I'm going to have a box of stuff for my kitchen, obviously. I'm going to have a box of, like, video game systems and game cases and all that crap. And then there's, like, a box of, like, my Legos and pop figures.
Do you have? How many Legos do you have?
4. A bunch.
And then, like, how many guitars do you have, like, with you?
With me?
That's not bad.
Right now, like, 3. No.
Are you going
but
to
those
take
can't
your
go in boxes.
paintings? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm just going to throw them away. Yeah, I mean, like, my wall decorations, that's another thing. So it's like,
wait,
I'll
that's
have, like,
it?
4 or 5
all
boxes.
of your stuff is just 4 or 5 boxes? Right.
And furniture and clothes.
I'm fascinated by your...
So, like, I'm throwing a bunch of stuff that I don't
stuff
need
you never
away.
wear.
Stuff I never
Often
use,
you
stuff
go
I never
through your
touch.
clothes. Oh, no.
I'm doing it right now. Yeah. They got rid of about, like,
I
probably
went
a third of
through
my
just
t-shirts.
the other day. I have 3 drawers in my dresser full of pants. Still the case, but they were more full. I have
very few pants, honestly.
I went through and I tried on every pair of shorts and pants I own, and if it didn't fit like that minute, like even if I'm focusing on like trying to lose weight or whatever, if it doesn't fit right now, then I'm just gonna throw it away. And my reward for losing weight will be buying new pants. Like
yeah, I did that too. Not stuff that didn't fit, but it's just like I threw away a bunch of because I just quit my office job. Threw away a bunch of dress shirts that like I probably could have stayed to replace anyway.
Right.
Because like I've just been washing them instead of dry cleaning them. They're just kind of like
I definitely know that.
They've seen better days. So I threw away some of those. Stuff that's just got like stains I'm never gonna quite get out, and then a bunch of t-shirts I never wear. I do need to figure out what to do with like t-shirts that have like sentimental value to them. I know, but I have a bunch of them, so I just need to make quilts. I don't know how to make quilts though. I need a service where I can mail all of my t-shirts and they send me back a quilt. Yeah, I'd love a guy actually, because I have a bunch of t-shirts where it's like I did this thing and I want to have that memory, but it's like I don't want to get rid of it, but I also don't want to wear that t-shirt. So like I love t-shirt quilts, and I'll have them and use them like photo albums. But
well, are you ready to do some rankings?
Yeah, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Yeah, so this is actually weird because this will be the last episode we record in this apartment.
Listener, we've asked a little bit of you to watch older films these past 2 weeks, and granted, they're older films that I think most people have seen, but I feel like a lot of you listeners like newer films, understandably so. Most of you are younger, and most of you like certain studios. Neither of these films fall under those studios. So I was thinking, what if we stick with our summer water theme, and next week we reviewed Dead Man's Chest? No, Curse of the Black Pearl.
I'm about that.
And that way we get to review one of our favorite movies. And
yeah, done. But
Pirates
yeah,
won.
so let's do that then.
And
let's
then
do Pirates.
if people are like, oh my god, you're talking Pirates, I love Pirates,
Yeah.
then we'll talk the next two. Yeah. Well, we
can talk about 3.
2's not that good.
I don't really want to talk about 2. 2's not that good. And we can if it's like really demanding.
3 is good.
But I don't really
Yeah.
want to.
I've never even
3
seen
is good.
5.
3 is very good.
Yeah, I've seen
I haven't
4.
seen 4 or 5. I heard 4 was terrible and 5 is passable. So kind of like 2 and 3.
Anyway, so let's do some wrapping of upping. So the first thing we got to talk
Let's
about
do
is the
some
villain,
wrapping
the shark
upping.
here. I think we got a 10 out of 10 shark.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
pretty much
far
as
as
good as the
villains go.
iceberg. Yeah, just straight up
It's
achieves. He gets to eat a person.
On screen. And a dog.
Yeah,
That's pretty evil.
Yep.
Yeah.
and God knows who
So,
else.
well done, shark. I'm happy for the shark. Yeah.
Yeah, Bruce.
No.
Bruce is a 10 out of 10 villain. I don't know if it's quite as good as the Titanic iceberg. Like, they're both a 10, but if one's more a
Right.
10, it's probably the iceberg.
Yeah, because the iceberg just cold, heartless.
But yeah,
Yeah.
murderer. Like, just murder hundreds and hundreds of people
So
in like
you
2
want
hours.
to talk about ranking the film, correct?
Yeah,
Big
hold on. Let
board.
me
I've
get
got the big board
let me get
open
the big
right
board
here.
open. I do not. So give me one memento.
Well, I had the big board open. No, it's gone. Continue read. There we go. Is this updated? Yes, it is. It's got Titanic on it. Look at that. Titanic, for those curious, ended at 23 when we readjusted all the numbers and everything.
Yep. And I think it's safe to say it's going to drop.
Yeah,
today.
for sure. So this for me, we're looking in the top 10 territory. Easy. Honestly, top 5 territory. Okay.
I agree.
Now I'm okay with it. I mean, really, this is either 2 or 5. Where would you put it?
Why do you say that?
Are you thinking 4? I think you either.
I'm just curious. No, I wasn't thinking 4. To me, it's like, and I know we probably will find the exception where we're going to be like, that was a better movie than A New Hope, but not as good as Empire.
I agree.
But like, to me, those are stuck together.
Yeah. So my thinking is, you either look Infinity War in the eye and you say it's just not Jaws, or you accept that The Force Awakens and Infinity War are excellent steps forward in modern cinema and really are modern classics and are going to make a difference and will still matter 30 years from now. Even though we're not talking about the reviews 30 years from now, we're talking about the reviews today in 2018.
Yeah, all you're doing is hurting Infinity War stock for me.
We're talking about it today.
Because honestly, I seriously don't think that it will be looked at the same way within the
I'm
next
curious
6
to see what's going to happen there. I really am, because I honestly think it's an excellent piece of cinema. I really do.
I mean, for the series, yeah, it's great. And this is my whole issue with it. For the series, it's great. If you talk about it as a standalone movie by itself, as like what it did for movies, it didn't do anything. It's not even a very well crafted movie. It doesn't deserve the ending it got.
I loved it. Maybe that's my blinders on and loving the MCU and what the MCU's done for like movie universes.
I still maintain it's not the best MCU movie.
Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, but it's rated the highest by 5 places. It is above Empire.
Correct. As long as we're talking Jaws.
So that's what I'm getting at here, is that like if it's better than Empire, it's better than Infinity War. Because I honestly don't think Infinity War is better than Empire.
Okay.
That's what I'm getting at. I'm not saying we need to move Infinity War right now, at least. I do think we will when Avengers 4 comes out. I think we will.
Well, I also think we've got the annual review coming up in October where we can adjust as necessary. But I
also just don't want to like around with the whole.
No,
list.
me neither. I think we need to see.
But yeah, we've so far set a precedent of moving movies,
right? And we did last
very
week,
sparingly.
If I'm not mistaken. Okay,
we did. We moved. I don't want to move Infinity War. The conversation here is to me, is this a better movie than The Force Awakens?
I think an argument can be made for it. So you think it's either 1 or 2, basically. So you think beyond shadow of a doubt this is better than.
I have always liked this movie.
So you
better
think
than
beyond a shadow of a doubt better than
movies.
classic Star Wars and Baby Driver.
Yeah. I mean, it's better than Baby Driver. I don't want to put it below Empire. That's what I'm saying. And like I said, to me, Infinity War is not as good as Empire. So it's either 1 or 2. And there's an argument to be made.
I want to hear your
ways.
arguments for both ways then.
I think objectively, it is absolutely a better movie. Yeah, I think that there are several movies on this list that are objectively a better movie than The Force Awakens. But I don't care about objectively. That's not the point. I'm just saying, objectively, it is a better movie. Objectively, Monty Python's probably a better movie. Baby Driver's probably a better movie. Empire's probably a better movie, objectively. But I love The Force Awakens.
And the thing about our list is that it's not an objective list. Like, if you look through here, like...
That's what I'm saying. But here's my but for that. This time I watched Jaws, And when we did it, I was like, and you've been saying this for the past couple months, you're like, man, I really like Jaws. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, Jaws is cool. And you just keep talking about Jaws. I'm like, really? Jaws? And then I watched this movie and I was
really
like,
is real deal very good.
This is a really good movie. A really good movie. But I don't know if I could put it higher than The Force Awakens. I think it deserves to be higher than The Force Awakens. I don't want to put it higher than The Force Awakens.
I love The Force Awakens. I really do. Like, that one is one that floors me every time I watch it. Like, holy crap, this is good. And it parallels Infinity War really well.
Such a good movie.
We're talking about that, where in Force Awakens introduces new character, Infinity War only introduces Thanos. But it's got the unchangeable death at the end. It's got like that amazing lightsaber battle in the snow. But it's tough because I feel like is it more of a statement to say that Jaws is better than The Force Awakens, or like to say that like
it is more of a statement. If we want to make a statement, it is more of a statement to say that Force Awakens is a better movie than Jaws. Because I think any air quote film person is going to tell us we're being idiots by considering The Force Awakens the best movie.
Like cinematography is what a lot of film people look at, right? Like that's what a lot of people care about. And I think The Force Awakens is an excellent film in that regard for teaching cinematography. Like how more basic can you get than like Rey is basked in blue light and like
no, I absolutely agree with you. I agree with you. I'm saying that like it's not going to get past the classicists.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do.
I know we're not. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying about the statement, though. If you want to make a statement, the statement is that Force Awakens is a better movie than Jaws. The statement to make in the first place is that Force Awakens is a better movie than Empire.
That was a bold move on our part.
Like we made that statement, and I'm content with continuing to stick with that statement. No, I mean I'm saying that's what we can continue. I'm cool with continuing to keep Force Awakens as number 1.
And I say we put Jaws at number 2.
Yeah, cool. Jaws number 2. I'm cool with that. It is a. And I think that this movie, like I said earlier, you can't underestimate the impact that this movie has had on cinema. And I also don't think you can miss the impact that Star Wars has had. But it's like you can't think about a movie with like a lot of blood and
like
death
you also
got to
think about like Star Wars is the result of a bunch of sequels, and that's great. But it's not like in 2018 they're not making Jaws ripoffs, right?
No, they definitely are. And Jaws had 3 sequels.
Yeah,
that were all bad.
But like 2018, not only is the Meg coming out. Has come out at this point, which is just a straight rip off of Jaws, but like Sharknado 6 is still a thing, and Shark Week is still a thing, and like none of that would have happened if it wasn't for Jaws.
This is the movie that launched 1,000 Sharks.
Yeah. So I love Jaws. I think it's an amazing film.
And I mean, this movie also has done like a lot for, weirdly enough, for like shark protection.
Well, because it caused all the research. Because like everything they were saying in the movie was
caused
wrong.
us to learn about sharks. Yeah.
You know, and it's important that we know that because sharks are important predators.
Yeah, Jaws 2 was terrible.
Even about bigger sharks.
Bigger sharks. Yeah, it's literally the second one is Brody again and different people, not Quint and Hooper. Obviously not Quint. Hooper doesn't come back, and it's just about like, oh my god, there's a bigger shark.
Is Santa Jaws really a part of the series? Is that canon?
No, I don't think so. Then there was Jaws 3D. Dennis Quaid played. Oh yeah. That's it. I forgot about that. Yeah, Dennis Quaid plays Mikey, the kid, but like grown up in Jaws 3D. It's got a 27 minute score.
I'm not seeing an article about it, but my assumption is Santa Jaws is not canon.
I don't think so. Although I think the last Sharknado comes out today. Which is an interesting day to record. It does. Yeah, TV movie 19 August 2018. So the last Sharknado, It's About Time, comes out today. So what an apropos day to be recording this movie or recording this episode.
Yes, but all I'm saying is like. The shark hype came from this.
Yeah, absolutely. There was not a movie about a shark before then. I don't think so. At least not a huge, groundbreaking blockbuster movie about a shark.
Right.
That is like universally adored. God. Ow.
Yeah.
I'm tired. There's a little bit. Well, I'm also hungry. I haven't eaten anything today. But it's okay.
Cool. So we've ranked the film. Jaws is sick.
Yeah,
very Jaws
good. Is sick, man.
We're recording this on Sunday. We're gonna hopefully. I guess. Did you update the list? Oh, it's all done?
Yeah. I need to add numbers to Return of the Jedi, but yeah.
Oh, all the numbers are wrong, aren't they?
I can do that right now.
All the numbers are wrong.
Oh, all the numbers are wrong. Yeah. Okay. You're right.
I was just going to say we'll share the new...
I can do that real quick.
The new list to Facebook.
Right, but that's pointless to say on the episode because it's coming out in 5 days or whatever, 4 days. I'm gonna put Return of the Jedi with numbers real quick though because I forgot to... I keep forgetting to do that. It's currently just listed as Return of the Jedi. Star Wars Episode VI. Return of the Jedi. Yep. Cool. So Jaws is our number 2 new number 2 movie.
So good.
Beat out Infinity War. It is very good. But yeah, we'll be back next week without a guest again.
We're not gonna have guests for a little while.
On that.
If there's somebody you absolutely want to hear, just let us know.
Right, but not for next week. I've just got too much going on in my life. I'm in a big period of transition right now, and I already have to find time to record this.
You do what you gotta do. But we're gonna be talking about Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. She's singing about pirates.
Black pearls. I'd like to be singing about pirates. That's mired in this natural
Consider
fog.
them
Mark my
marked.
words. Consider them marked.
We were just gonna quote the whole
We're
thing.
gonna be so annoying recording that movie or recording that episode. Yeah. The whole thing. All right. Anyway.
So thank you for listening to
and
this
do the thing,
episode of
Tyler.
Bacon and Eggs. As always, I've been Tyler Carlin, and he's been Ethan Edgehill. Today we discussed Jaws. We actually ranked it number 2 on our overall list. If you want to find us on Instagram, Twitter, anything like that, all of the links are in the description below. But if there's one I want to encourage you to check out, it's our Twitter page, Bacon and Eggs 23. It's a ton of fun. It's a great place to get in touch with us. But if you're not a Twitter person, you definitely want to join our Facebook group. There's a link to join in the description. It's totally free for everyone, forever. And if you love the show and you want to support the show, you can go to you can go to patreon.com/baconandeggs. And if you want to hang out with Ethan and I all the time, there's a $5 reward tier to join a Discord server. Discord is this really cool program. It's like AOL Instant Messenger on crack. It's just a group chat that never ends, and it's amazing. And the community is wonderful. And if you have any questions about it, just let us know. We'll be happy to go through it with you and explain everything. Our artwork is done by Vaishon Brandon. He works for Graphite, which is his company. The link to their Twitter and Instagram is in the description as well. And his email is on his Instagram. You can get in touch with him. He's super duper great to work with and very reasonable. What else? Oh, cool.
I think that's it.
I got nothing else then.
Yeah.
I'm
Neat.
looking for him.
You have an A
I'm
phrase?
Sure there's one. I keep thinking Alan Silvestri, but this isn't. Yeah.
It's not even his movie.
Let me pull it up. I think Stephen Plotz's favorite book is Jaws. Yeah.
Favorite book?
Have you read it?
I've heard the book is terrible. No, I haven't read it. But I've been told there's no need. I can't imagine it's a very good
I don't
book
know.
either.
I'd be curious, but it got 4 stars on all those like book review websites. Yeah.
Did it really? I wonder if there's an audiobook.
I'm sure there's an audiobook. I'm sure it's going to be some weird old guy narrator.
Listen to Jaws by Peter Benchley at audiobooks.com. I don't want audiobooks.
Yeah,
I want Audible. I don't want a free trial either. I just want to see Jaws on Audible. Like, Jesus Christ.
Why am I at volvocars.com?
I don't know. You're looking
trying
up
to
an
get Audible.
A-phrase. Why? I'm looking it up.
Jaws
You're looking
is
up an
on.
A-phrase.
Read by Eric Steele. I've got an A-phrase.
Cool.
All right.
Okay. You didn't say that. Hold on. Okay, I'm ready. Thank you guys again for listening to Bacon and Eggs. I've been Ethan Edgehill. He's been Tyler Carlin. And until next week, on behalf of the DeGroots, Alvar Hanso, and all of us here at the Dharma Initiative, thank you, namaste, and good luck. And also arrivederci.
Anti-shark cage?